Welcome back. In our next segment is all about virtual banking in a world where technology plays a dominant role. Ila Bank is a fintech initiative in which it believed that banking needs a change. Let's watch this report to know more about Ila. And to talk more about the idea behind this easy yet new way of managing your money is Mr. Mohamed Al Maraj, the CEO at Ila Bank. Hello there and welcome to Bahrain Today.
Thank you, Barak, for having me. It's my pleasure to be here today.
The honor is all ours. So Ila Bank, tell us more about that.
Sure, Barak. So I'll start off by, let's say, discussing the history of how Ila Bank came about. Ila Bank is obviously a subsidiary of Arab Banking Corporation, Bank ABC.
Okay.
As the viewers may know, Bank ABC has been an offshore wholesale bank here in Bahrain for the last 40 years.
Wow.
It exists in 15 countries, 5 continents, with around 3,000 employees all over the world, headquartered here in Bahrain.
Okay.
3 years ago, as part of the overall, let's call it, transformation project at Bank ABC,
Okay.
a digital or technology pillar was adopted, which was led by our Deputy Group CEO, Mr. Saleh Al-Wa'ri. And let's call it as one of his passion projects,
Okay.
was to disrupt banking here in Bahrain and regionally.
Wow.
And I still remember 3 years ago receiving the call to his office, which obviously for me as a young Bahraini changed my life. And I think it also reflects the story of Ila, which we'll be going into.
Yes.
Which was basically, he came to me and said, Mohammed, I have this project where I really want to disrupt banking.
Disrupt.
Banking. And I want to focus on the word disrupt. And it's going to be our collective passion project for the next few years till we see it live.
Okay.
At that point, I was part of Bank ABC Group, working in the strategy department, and I jumped on the opportunity right away. So luckily enough, I was employee number 1 with Mr. Al-Wa'ri at Ila. And 3 years ago, we set about putting the blueprint, let's call it, of this project. At that point, it was called Bank ABC Neobank Project.
Neobank, okay.
The name was not conceived yet. And we put together, let's call it a blueprint, which consisted of several factors. Number 1, this bank will be completely digital and only on your mobile. We will refuse to have any sort of physical presence on the island.
Wow.
Number 2, in terms of our engagement with our customers, it was going to be completely digital. So we will be extremely avoiding any traditional channels for communicating with our customers.
Okay.
Number 3, the culture of this bank is going to be completely different than any other bank here in Bahrain.
Okay.
And when I say that, it had to, let's say, exemplify the startup mentality and the digital mentality that right now is kind of all over the world, and that's being adopted by many different institutions across the world. Number 4, there was going to be a focus on Bahraini talent.
Okay.
And we really wanted to build this bank on the back of talented Bahraini youth.
Okay.
Okay. And number 5 was the pillar that I think goes about to our slogan, which is banking that reflects you.
All right.
And that's our motto.
Amazing.
Which was what was going to be the impact that we were going to have in Bahrain and regionally with Ila Bank.
All right.
Okay. That impact was not going to be being the most successful bank monetary wise, but the legacy that this bank will be leaving in the country, in the sense of how many more people was it going to inspire to follow in the footsteps of Ila, to follow your passion.
Amazing.
How many Bahraini talent were we going to graduate from Ila that will be able to, let's call it, take on leadership opportunities in Bahrain, whether in the private or public sector? And how will the average Bahraini on the street get affected by Ila? And those were the, let's call it, the blueprint that we went about building this thing 3 years ago. Obviously the name came about in this journey. Obviously the word Ila is the Arabic word for towards.
Towards, okay.
And what it exemplifies for us is basically the journey that we took about in building this bank, and also the journey that we want to take our customers with us.
Okay.
If you ask me, like, you know, what's next for Ila, the opportunities are endless. So that's where the word Ila, let's say, comes from.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, you pretty much, it shows how much passion you have for the idea itself of Bank Ila and everything being virtual, that kind of stuff. And so the reception so far has been okay, challenging, especially in Bahrain being a banking hub.
Yeah.
And everybody's likes to have the physical touch of things. So how's the reception so far?
I think it's been quite exceptional, and I think it's a testimony to the belief that we had, which was the consumption patterns of the average consumer have changed completely over the last 3 years. And it doesn't have to be just with banking, but if you look at across industries, everything is turning into the digital space, whether it's ordering your food online, whether it is ordering stuff in general online, whether it's consuming entertainment such as music and movies. So banking was going to be disrupted, whether we, as you know, some of us, I come from a traditional banking background, but I decided to transform. Banking is going to be disrupted, and I think Ila is a testament to that disruption, because the consumption and the uptake of our app in the last, I mean, we're a 3-month-old bank right now since we just launched, and the uptake has been tremendous.
Amazing, amazing. So now, with that being said, now everything is virtual.
Yep.
Money is virtual, your transactions, everything.
So let me explain the app a little bit. So it's as simple as basically going onto the App Store, whether it's the Apple App Store or the Android App Store, downloading the app.
Yes.
And wherever you are in the world, as long as you're a resident of Bahrain, you can onboard with a selfie, 2 forms of identification, which are usually a passport and a driver license, or a CPR and a driver license, have an email, and there you go. As soon as you onboard, the average time takes you 5 minutes, and as soon as you onboard, you've got a banking account that you can transact with domestically and internationally. And not only that, but we give you the opportunity to create multiple currency accounts. So you could have a Bahraini denominated account, a USD denominated account, a Euro denominated account, a Pound denominated account, and other GCC currency denominated accounts. And not only that, but as soon as you're on board, we're also the first bank in Bahrain to have a virtual card. And what that means is, as soon as you open up the account, instead of, you know, waiting for like 2 or 4 or 5 days
to get your card,
to get your card,
from the delivery guy. Hey, here's your card.
Exactly, and that's if you know, remember that ugly white envelope.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've got a virtual card right there on your app, which you can use to transact immediately. So let's say you're out and about, you decide to, let's say, I need to order something online.
Yeah.
So download the app, on board, and there you go. You have a virtual card that you can immediately transact with online.
Supermarkets, stuff like that, the virtual card works there?
So the virtual card currently will work online, and also if you upload it on digital wallets such as Benefit Pay or B-Wallet.
Okay.
So let's take a scenario, for example.
Yeah, please.
You're at a supermarket.
Yes.
And you don't have currently your bank cards for some reason.
No, I lost my wallet. I forgot my wallet in the car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you have on you, let's say, your Ella app,
Yes.
right, on your phone. So you take that virtual card, upload it, for example, into Benefit Pay.
Okay.
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 And there you go. You can use Benefit Pay to transact with a QR code. That's one way of basically transacting, like you said, virtually. Bahrain currently does not have things like Samsung Pay or Apple Pay or Google Pay. These are things that are coming actually in the pipeline, and ILA has been actually playing a proactive role with the Central Bank and Benefit and the Economic Development Board on trying to bring in such technologies to the market. And inshallah, within the next 3 to 4 months, these things will be available in the market.
Amazing. So now it's a testimonial that everything is going digital, right?
Exactly.
And you use the word disruptive.
Exactly.
Quite a lot here. So now are we looking at a very, very own virtual world coming on when it comes to banking, like to the point that no more physical money will be applied?
I mean, if I take my kind of lifestyle as an example.
Okay.
I try to limit my visits to the ATM as much as possible right now.
Yeah.
Am I able to do it? I think I've been able to cut down on my cash transactions by 95%, even here in Bahrain. And I think that the world in general, not only in Bahrain, is moving towards that, let's call it, digital consumption way.
Okay, great. So the lifestyle is going to change, and ILA is going to take a big part in that. Yeah. Definitely.
And I think you use an important word actually for us, which is lifestyle. ILA right now is a bank, and it was conceived as a bank. But the vision for us at ILA as a team was actually to create what we like to call a lifestyle banking platform.
Okay.
Which means the following, is hopefully within the next few years, what ILA is going to do is play a part in the everyday needs of Bahrainis, which is from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. I want ILA to be the digital platform which gives you access to movies, music, workouts, the ability to do e-commerce. So that's the idea, creating eventually an end-to-end lifestyle platform that is based on a banking platform. Because if you look at it, like no matter what you do in your digital, like let's say, world, you need to pay.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And if I can give you the ability to make your payments much easier through one app, you won't need to go to like 6 and 7 different apps.
Right.
So that's the vision.
Amazing. And totally, I can see this happening.
Yeah.
And ILA being pretty much the prominent platform for that.
Inshallah.
I mean, definitely. So let's say it's a concept done by Bahrainis.
Yep.
80% of all the technical work that happened behind the scenes are Bahrainis.
And 85% too of the team is under the age of 40.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So it's a pretty young team.
And it's based in Bahrain.
It's based in Bahrain. So what we did is when we went about building this thing is we ensured that let's call it the best-in-class talent was sourced out of the country and was actually also complemented by international talent.
Beautiful.
3 years ago, because as you know, some of the, let's call it specifications or some sort of disciplines were not available at that point in Bahrain. And what we said to ourselves is, let's bring in best-in-class talent from around the world to actually train the local talent.
Okay.
And it was part of like our commitment to developing, let's say, the next-in-class leadership in the banking world here in Bahrain. So around, I'd say, more than 35 countries were represented in that 20% here. And that's, I think, a great thing for us because, You know, Bahrain has a great ecosystem.
Amazing.
And we as Bahrain, I think, have a very vibrant and diverse culture. So it was quite easy to attract like best-in-class talent to Bahrain.
Amazing. I mean, so done by Bahrainis, for Bahrainis and the world, and pretty much being the forefront of the technological aspects of banking with the word disrupt.
Yeah.
The whole traditional ways of doing the banking system. So we can actually see that ILA is going to be pretty much, let's say, in the advanced level of digital and virtual banking.
For sure. And I think one of the things that I'd like to add to what you just said is we're actually taking this regionally.
Regionally,
So
yes.
let's say the heart is Bahraini,
Yes.
but the ambitions are global and
Beautiful
international. One of the things that I personally keep on telling the team is, if you look at the region, if I ask you like, where is the birthplace of Kareem, you would immediately know. If I asked where the birthplace of Amazon, you would know.
Yeah.
If I asked you the birthplace of Souk.com,
Yes.
you would know. And I say to the team, let's put it as a challenge to ourselves that
Yes.
in 3 years, wherever we may be traveling around the world, inshallah, people will know that Bahrain is the home of ILA.
Yes. Yes. Such a pride moment for us right now to know that ILA can actually put Bahrain on the map when it comes to virtual banking. Anything you want to tell to your audience watching this right now?
I think the message that I have for the audience is, if you're watching this and let's say you have a passion or an idea that you haven't pursued, look at what we have achieved in the last 3 years. Yeah, it was an idea conceived in Bahrain by Bahrainis and pursued by local talent within the ecosystem of Bahrain.
Amazing.
And 3 years later, I'm sitting right here, alhamdulillah, with an impact that has been well received in Bahrain and across the region. So if you're out there and you were having second doubts about pursuing what you're passionate about, make it a project of yours, make it an obsession, and go chase it night and day.
Beautiful.
Because that's what we did, and we're here sitting, alhamdulillah, happy with what we've achieved so far.
Alhamdulillah. And yet more to come, that's for sure, with ILA, I'm sure of that.
Inshallah.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on Bahrain Today, and you have now a new customer.
Thank you so much.
You said 5 minutes?
5 minutes. I hope you can beat it.
Let's beat that record.
Inshallah.
I got my passport, everything is ready.
Inshallah.
Doing a selfie phone call? That's how it's gonna happen?
No, it's just a selfie actually. It's not a phone call.
3 minutes and a half. Let's put that into
Yeah,
records.
I'll hold you to that.
Great stuff happening
Great.
here. There you go, viewers. Don't forget to download the ILA Bank and activate your virtual account today. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Bahrain Today.